On the count of 3, perhaps engaging the elbow. We're rough, we're tough. 1, 2, 3. Now we're cooking. Okay, so the first article for you is always keep your pistol or cutlass clean and ready for service. You're promoted. Okay, you get the hang of this. Number 2, no fighting one another on board. Excellent. Number 3, no crew member to plunder another crew member's liquor rations this morning. Number 4, very important, during our voyage this morning, no crew member is to leave the deck of the ship except for genuine laboratorial situations. Excellent. Said laboratories in this direction. No random firing of the cannons. No funny business in the crow's nest. And in general, no roguery, no debauchery, and no foul-mouthery. Excellent. You have all now joined the Vampirates crew. A round of applause for yourselves. Right, okay. So, my books, the Vampirates books. You may have read books about pirates. You may have seen Pirates of the Caribbean before, perhaps. Has anyone seen that? No, it's Bond. No one's seen it. Okay. You might have read books about vampires. There's a lot of books about vampires out there. Have you read a book about a vampire recently? What was it? It was called Vampires. It seems like a good book. Was it a non-fiction book? Was it a story book? Was it a story book?
It was fiction.
Okay. And did you read it in the library? No. Oh, fine. Okay. You've come a long way this morning. Oh, you're the 5 o'clock team. You're very bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. Okay. Well, look, there's lots of books. There's lots of books about vampires out there, and a fair few books about pirates, but there aren't that many books about vampires. In fact, there's 6, and I wrote all of them. And here they are. This is the full set now, because this is the last one, which is published next Thursday. So I'm really excited about this. I'd like to carry this around at all times. So, has anyone here read one of my books? I'm not going to be upset if you haven't. No, you're a completely new audience for me, which is exciting. So, I think in that case, what I'm going to do is tell you a bit about some of the story and some of the characters who are over here, and I will read you an extract from one of the books, probably the first one. Now, here's a question for you. If you had an idea, like I did about 10 years ago, to write some books about vampire pirates, what sort of time period do you think you might set the story in? Somebody give me a suggestion. Stick up your hand. You know, yes, how about you? When do you think you'd like to set this story?
I would have set this story on Wednesday.
On Wednesday you want to set the story? It's a good day to set a story. It's sort of middle of the week. I like it. Any other suggestions for when you might want to set your story? Yes? In the Victorian age. Any reason why you're leaning towards Victorian? You like it? Well, you know what? That's as good enough a reason as a writer as any to set it in a time period that you enjoy writing about. Very sensible. Any other suggestions? Thinking that there's going to be vampires, there's going to be pirates in this story. Anyone else want to suggest what sort of time period we might go? Yes.
Probably about the Middle Ages.
The Middle Ages. Okay, so we're going back a little bit further into the past.
I don't know why, but well, there's that.
Okay, so is that a time period that you know a little bit about, you're quite interested in? Okay, fine. So 2 suggestions from the past. We're going back further into the past. Yes? Now, why Elizabethan era? Okay. Okay, so tap into some writing that's been there before. And there definitely was piracy going on in the Elizabethan era. So there'd be some historical stuff we could play on. Right, lots of hands. Okay, you were next. The future. Why would you say the future? There'll be lots of interesting weird things in the future, and that is why I'm decided to set my books in the future. So well done. So actually my books and not set in the past, in the sort of the golden age of piracy, if you like. My books are set 500 years into the future. But it's a future that doesn't really feel very futuristic. It's not really the future that we're hoping for or expecting. It's a future of a world that has gone a bit wrong. There's been global warming and sea levels have risen, and so there's a lot less land and a lot more ocean. And so it's much more important in my books, 500 years into the future, who is controlling the oceans rather than who is in control of the land. Everyone with me so far? And this is why the oceans are teeming with pirate ships, and this other particular ship, the Vampirate ship, which we come to find out is called the Nocturne. Now, my next question for you, I like to ask lots of questions to my audience. My next question for you is, if you had this idea and you could set this story anywhere in the world you wanted to, where do you think you would choose? What country would you choose, or stretch of coast? Yes. Anywhere you want. You're in charge. Ah, okay, you're still doing time period, so you're in the Stone Age. So we could set it in the south of England, potentially. Anything? Oh, how about you?
I think either in somewhere around America or Asia.
Somewhere around America or Asia. That's quite a big canvas. Can I encourage you to pin that down a little bit more?
Around maybe Iraq and Iraq.
That's a very interesting place to set a story, isn't it? To set a story in the future around Iraq or Iran about pirates and vampires.